I've opened up my heart. I'm at the start. I save the world. I save the world.
Okay, hello everybody.
Save the world.
A special shout out now for the people who might be watching the prepared video. We post all of my videos on multiple platforms, on YouTube, on BitChute, on Rumble. And I really encourage you to subscribe to whatever platform you're watching it on. Yes, you can watch it without subscribing, but you usually need to subscribe in order to leave a comment. And we'd love to have you leave a comment. I would love to have you leave a comment and share some of your thoughts. Just think of it like a share that you might give after the gathering if you are actually watching the complete Sunday gathering. We have open sharing afterwards. So just share a few thoughts that you might have. Developing our healing ability. That's the title of my talk today. So I just want to, share a few thoughts about how we generally think of healing in the world and healing ability. In the ego world, healing is usually regarded as the ability that we have to find a wiser one, to find a highly educated one, to find a highly trained one, and to find one who possesses some special knowledge, some special skill. Generally, traditionally, we call these people doctors. So we find the doctor who seems to have some knowledge about this issue that we have. And as in the reading that Reverend Paula read, someone knows better, has been better trained, or is perhaps more talented and wise. Therefore, he can give healing to the one that stands beneath him in his patronage. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one who, by his arts and learning, will succeed. This is from the Song of Prayer pamphlet. Many people aren't as familiar with the Song of Prayer pamphlet, but there were two pamphlets that were scribed by Helen Schuckman kind of just as the course was being published or shortly after it was published. And they're included in the Foundation for Inner Peace book in the back of the book, but they can also be purchased separately if you have one of the other editions. So that's what we think of as healing in this world. We might say, I healed myself of cancer. I found the right doctor. Wasn't he wonderful? He was great. He gave me the right treatment. Oh, I had such confidence in the doctor. One of the interesting things to really remember about the whole medical establishment and doctors, it's a self-regulating group of people. I mean, they have evolved not only to have doctors, but to have medical boards that are teams of doctors. And these medical boards license the doctors and maintain the licensure and the abilities and the procedures that go along with getting to be a licensed doctor. And these medical boards have also embedded themselves in government, so they're approved by the government. And what they've actually done is formed a monopoly. So healing has basically become a monopoly run and organized by the doctors themselves. And if you fall outside of the monopoly, you get harassed and you get maybe unable to even practice. So they're monopolists. If you try to be a healer without being a licensed doctor, you're accused of practicing medicine without a license. It's actually a crime. And right now, there are strong movements, especially in Canada, but here in this country too, to really outlaw or control supplements, non-prescription supplements that you might get at a health food store, things that people use for alternative healing. there's a big movement by these monopolists, these doctors, these medical boards to control all of these things, to limit all these things, to stop all of these things. And we need to be aware of that. And I know for me, because I turn to a lot of alternative healing modalities, I want to be active in my um, confronting that. I want to have access to all healing modalities, not just the licensed doctors that have been embedded in their programs and in their medical boards and that have embedded themselves in the government to give them this ability. So by doing the doctor thing, finding the wiser one, we are literally believing that separation is what is going to heal us. And in the reading there that Reverend Paula read from the Song of Prayer pamphlet, it's really trying to expose this and get us to see that cannot possibly be true. Separation cannot possibly truly heal us. Healing has to be universal, and it has to be abundant, and it has to be open and available to all. And that's really the only kind of healing that ever could actually heal us. Believing that separation can heal us is not really healing at all. The Course in Miracles says there can be an appearance that things have been healed, but that these appearances are generally limited to the body. The Course says these forms may heal the body and indeed are generally limited to this. That was also in the reading that Reverend Paula read. So, yeah, when we go to these so-called healers, the medical establishment, these people who seem to know more, there sometimes is what appears to be a healing, but what A Course in Miracles says that it's limited to the body. The mind hasn't truly been healed. And so the sickness will come back. And it might not come back in the same form that it came the first time, but unless the mind really has a healing, the sicknesses will occur and reoccur over and over again. Again, in the reading that Reverend Paula read, it said, true healing cannot come from inequality assumed and then accepted as the truth and used to help restore the wounded and to calm the mind that suffers from the agony of doubt. So true healing cannot actually come from those things. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to a doctor. You should do whatever you are guided to do, but you need to understand what's going on. It's not true healing to find the wiser one and then do what the wiser one says, even if it means that the body tends to get better. Because the true cause of whatever was manifesting has not been changed. And so the healing will just, I'm sorry, the sickness will just find another way to manifest in another form. Healing has to be an ability that is possessed by everyone. And we all must truly be able to heal ourselves, and we all must truly be able to heal everybody else. And everybody else must truly be able to heal us as well. Course in Miracles is very clear that healing is an ability possessed by everyone. Now, perhaps it's lying dormant in some people, and perhaps it lies dormant in some of us at different times. Maybe it exists only as a potential. Maybe it's like potential energy, like the rock sitting on top of the hill. Until it's pushed over the crest of the hill, it just is stationary. But that potential energy is there. So when the rock is pushed over the top of the hill, it rolls down the hill and gathers speed as it goes along. And I believe healing is kind of like that. Sometimes we have to push ourselves a little bit off of the hill to release that energy of healing that is really there. Maybe dormant, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. It exists as a potential ability. The Course says healing is the one ability which everyone can develop and must develop if he is to be healed. So healing is, as I said, a universal ability. And we here at Community Miracle Center are really here to reinforce that awareness. And coming here and listening to these talks at the Sunday gathering or any of the classes that we do. But let's stay focused on the Sunday gathering for a minute. Listening to the talks and then maybe sharing afterwards. That is a way to develop your ability to be a healer, both for yourselves, for other people, for the world. And sometimes people are so used to thinking of healing as this special thing that is only available to a special class of people. It's hard for them to understand that healing is actually universal and readily available and there for us all the time. But I think we need to shift into that awareness. And Community Miracle Center is a definite way to help you shift into that awareness, participating with us in whatever way you do, but certainly by coming here to participate in the Sunday gathering is a way to push that potential energy off the crest of the hill and start it rolling down so that you can have it available, so that you can heal yourself, so that you can heal others, so that you can heal the world. Jesus in the Bible is quoted many times about saying that the healing that he was able to do wasn't because of him. He always found some other way. It was either because of the Father working through him, or sometimes it was because of the faith that the people he healed themselves had. Excuse me. So he never claimed any kind of a special status because he was able to heal. He may have developed his potential to heal, his ability to heal, but that potential was really universal and it was there for everybody. And also, I want to mention that developing your potential for heal, the time to do that is when you are not in a healing crisis. I mean, obviously, if you're in a healing crisis, then you want to do the best you can. So that is great. But truly, develop your potential and get that ball rolling down the hill before you have a healing crisis. Because when you have the crisis, there will be many things that will be challenging. And that's actually a harder time to develop the ability. The ability is easier to develop when you're not in crisis. But I think that's something just to be aware of with your practice, be aware of with your participation with the Community Miracle Center. All these things come up in the world that seem to distract us from consistent practice, consistent involvement. But we need that consistent practice and consistent involvement to really release our potential energy for healing ability. And we need to do that before we have the healing crisis so that when the healing uh, crisis happens, we have vast strengths to deal with it. Jesus in the Bible, again, as I said, is always telling us that, the healing doesn't come from him. This is a Bible quote. It says, "Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow nor turning." That's from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17. So every gift of God is a perfect gift, and it is there, flowing not just through Jesus and not just through maybe doctors, but all of us, all the time. And to really, I believe, heal the way A Course in Miracles is training us to heal, we need to be open to the all pervasiveness of healing. In A Course in Miracles, it says, "Yet healing is nevertheless of God because it proceeds from his voice and from his laws. That's from the text. So it's all saying the same thing. Healing comes from God. It doesn't come from anybody special here in the world. It doesn't come from a special class of monopolists who have decided to, uh, you know, financially incentivize healing. Though you may turn to those people at certain times, but understand that the true healing is not going to come from them. The true healing is going to come from God, and it's all pervasive. It's all throughout the world. It comes through us, and it comes through everybody else as well. And we can be healed through our interactions with everybody, with anybody, with everybody. It's not so much about learning how to heal, it's about learning how to let healing flow through you. The healing is always there. It's in everybody natural. Everybody's a natural channel for healing, but the channel gets clogged. It gets clogged by our ego beliefs and by our negative judgments. That's why a lot of A Course in Miracles is about releasing those ego beliefs and those negative judgments, because that's actually what's clogging the channel. So we don't actually have to learn how to heal. We just have to unclog the channel, because the channel is continually flowing with healing. And one of the things that clogs the channel is this belief that healing is a special thing, a special ability, that's held by special people. And this doesn't just have to be doctors. We do this with spiritual healing as well. We think spiritual healers are special healers, and we'll travel all over the world to go visit a special healer. And A Course in Miracles, I think, tells us is that's actually magic, because healing is not special and it doesn't reside in special people. And apparently Jesus knew that, because that's why he always deflected when he healed, that it came from him, it came through him, or it came through the person themselves because they had the faith, but the healing power did not rest in him. The Course says healing perceives nothing in the healer that everyone does not share with him. Magic always sees something special in the healer, which he believes he can offer as a gift to someone who does not have it. So even with spiritual healing, if we think that spiritual healing resides in special people, that's appeal to magic. That's not actually healing. The one that comes to mind, recently is John of God, who was a spiritual healer of great renown in Brazil. And he healed for many years, many decades, actually. And millions of people went to see him. And I'm sure that some people were actually healed by seeing him. But they weren't actually healed by seeing him. They were healed because they chose healing and they associated the healing with him. And so in his presence, they were able to choose it for themselves. But as so often happens, all of these people, most of these people, is it all of these people? Maybe all of these people that we put up on these special pedestals like this eventually fall. John of God, who I believe is now would be in his 80s, is in his 80s. I mean, he's in prison. I tried to get a little detail here. He got accused of 200 accounts in one bit of information I got. And actually, another bit of information said there were as many as 600 accounts of sexual assault and rape with some young women who were as young as 14 years old. All throughout his years, and eventually the Brazilian government arrested him, tried him, and convicted him. And he is now serving a jail sentence, which again, I had a little difficulty finding out the exact sentence, but it's somewhere between 140 years and 300 years for all of those multiple cases against him for sexual assault. So these healers that we hold up on the pedestals, even the ones that have great renown, tend to fall. So it's just another indication that We shouldn't be putting people up on pedestals like that. We should understand that healing is happening all around us all the time. And it's happening with things and with people that are readily accessible and readily available. It's happening right here at the Sunday gathering with all of us, if we choose it. But that's the issue. We have to choose it. We have to choose to be healed. We have to choose to be a healer. We have to choose to understand that it is not special, that it is a natural attribute. We have to choose to unclog the channel so that it just flows naturally, consistently, all around us, so that we can claim it at any time we need it, at any place that we need it. The Course says, your brothers are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. So we don't have to seek out special sisters and brothers. Every sister and brother has the power to heal us and to save us right now. We just have to claim that. We just have to understand that. And we have to then make it so. I have frequently talked about just how healing it is for me just to be out and about in public, on public transportation, on the bus, in the marketplace, walking around the crowded streets. I get healed just from the simple day-to-day interaction that I have with people, the smiles exchanged, the good energy exchanged with people is very, very healing. It's healing. All the exchanges, it's healing right here, right now, at this Sunday gathering. Yes, those who may have been healed by John of God may have just accepted that in that moment that they were with him. But they didn't have to go to Brazil. And they didn't have to elevate his ego so much that he abused and hurt so many other people. And that's what happens when specialness gets out of control. So develop your healing ability and develop it now. Don't wait. There's no place special you have to go. There's nobody special you have to seek out. You don't have to seek out special doctors. They're monopolists. You don't have to speak out special spiritual healers who live in foreign countries. It just feeds their egos, and more often than not, then their ego goes crazy, and they do more harm than good. Develop your healing ability now. It's a potential energy. You're that rock on the top of the mountain. Just a little push to roll yourself down and have that healing energy. And it's here every week at the Sunday gathering. So come frequently, often, and allow yourself to feel the healing potential that is everywhere with everybody. That's my talk for today. Thank you very much.
Woke up my eyes to see, woke up my head to beat, woke up my heart to be free, woke up our world, you and me. I've opened up my heart, I'm at the start. I save the world, I save the world, I save the world, I save